this country called the USA.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get sad again.
We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. We never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights, we're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the lands. We forge the steel with our own two hands. With what we've got, we do the best we can, we're Americans.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show on K98 Talk. Now, here's Grouchy.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. I am your friendly neighborhood Grouch. Glad to have you here with me. And I got to tell you, I'm going to try to do this 60-minute show in about 30 minutes and make it last an hour. So bear with me as we go through this. I have to get up in about 6 hours and hit the road for a 640-mile road trip, unload my payload in the truck, turn around and drive the 640 miles back home so I can get some sleep to be ready to go Friday morning. So anyway, enough of my problems. Tonight, this whole show is about money. That's right. Your money, my money, tax money. The government takes our money and wastes it in ways that you cannot believe. But before we get there, we're going to touch on another huge waste of our money. I know it sounds redundant and repetitive and all that good stuff, like I'm repeating myself. But trust me, it's a little different here. So, you know, we've got this monstrosity of a problem in this country called immigration right now. It's a huge problem, and we're not even going to pretend it's not. And we're going to discuss how huge it is in just a couple more minutes. But as if our immigration crisis wasn't dire enough, we have a number of illegal aliens that are using fake Puerto Rican birth certificates to obtain authentic U.S. passports and driver's license. Now, I know some of you, you know roughly where Puerto Rico is. You know, it's an island. It's an island nation. It's about 1,000 miles southeast of Florida. Became a U.S. territory a couple decades back after the Caribbean island was acquired from Spain at the end of the Spanish-American War. Did I say decades? How about centuries? Feels like centuries anyway. But you see, Puerto Ricans are American citizens at birth, but they don't have the right to vote in federal elections, and the island has only one non-voting representative in Congress. Now, in recent years, a record number of Puerto Ricans have left their troubled island for the U.S., and a huge chunk have settled in Florida. Now, those of you that might be in New York are screaming, hey, what about us? Yeah, I know. There's some Puerto Ricans in New York, too. There's Puerto Ricans everywhere. And you know what? Most all of them are very good, decent, hardworking people. That is true. But a few months ago, a study found that the island's ongoing economic recession has led to a mass exodus of people not seen in more than 5 decades. In 2014 alone, 84,000 people left Puerto Rico for the U.S. mainland. A recent news report referred to the Puerto Rican crisis as an economic exodus that would push 2/3 of its population to live in the U.S. The island nation has an eye-popping $73 billion debt, a collapsing healthcare system, and nearly half of its population is living in poverty. Well, damn, doesn't that sound familiar? Well, except for the $73 billion debt, we got a lot more than that here. But for the rest of it, collapsing healthcare, half the population in poverty, that's the United States. Are we sure their one non-voting member doesn't get a vote for everybody in Congress? Anyway, it's fair to say that for years, Uncle Sam has welcomed Puerto Ricans with open arms, and that has created lots of opportunities for fraud. There's been a rise in the number of cases involving the use of false Puerto Rican birth certificates by illegal immigrants, according to a South Florida newspaper. And it focuses on the specifics of a recent case. It involves an illegal alien from Colombia arrested in Florida after trying to get a U.S. passport by claiming to be an American citizen born in Puerto Rico. Now, this man used a fake Puerto Rican birth certificate to get a valid driver's license from the state of Florida more than 3 years ago. The newspaper article points out that this case is the latest in a series involving the use of fake Puerto Rican birth certificates by illegal immigrants in South Florida. In the last year alone, more than 12 cases have surfaced in Miami federal court. The defendants, all Spanish-speaking illegal aliens, have all illegally obtained Puerto Rican birth certificates to get American passports or driver's licenses. Now, this latest case, the man's last name is Sanchez. He's been criminally charged and is scheduled to be tried this month at a Broward County federal court. It turns out that fraud involving these Puerto Rican birth certificates has been, it's been pretty prolific for years. And the U.S. government and its various agencies accept the documents blindly. They don't do any background checking. They just assume that if you have this, you're good. The problem got so out of control that back in 2010, Puerto Rico's government invalidated every birth certificate and issued new ones considered to be safer. Now, how bad does that have to be when they obliterate everybody in their nation's birth certificate to create this new safe one? I don't know if it has a watermark or a magnetic strip or the special ink like our currency. I don't know what they did to them, but I would love to find out. So anyway, this is a pretty radical solution, but many say it's a long time coming and has been a serious and growing crisis involving Puerto Rican birth certificates. which are used to apply from everything from U.S. passports to Medicaid to food stamps to driver's licenses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, that same report, published in April 2010, revealed that the U.S. State Department was well aware of the problem. Go figure. Who was running the State Department in 2010? Remind me again. Oh, that's right, Hillary Clinton. Yeah. I'm sure that she didn't know anything about this until she read it in the paper, kind of like Obama, you know. He doesn't know what his administration's doing until he reads about it or sees it on the news. But it was estimated that the agency back then, that a mind-boggling 40% of all U.S. passport fraud cases involved Puerto Rican birth certificates. 4 years later, a separate report confirmed that little had changed and that the fraud is still rampant. Now, you know, I don't get it. When they know that there's a counterfeit, altered, or stolen birth certificate coming from Puerto Rico, and that they view this as the holy grail to Florida's undocumented illegals. With phony birth certificates, you can live the American dream, enroll in a school, land a job, get a driver's license, qualify for thousands upon thousands of dollars in earned income credit refunds from our government that you and I pay for. Cha-ching. Why wouldn't state do something about this? And let's not just pin it all on Hillary, and let's just not pin it all on John Kerry, because this problem's been ongoing for decades. Okay? We can literally draw this line back to the 70s. Now, granted, in recent years, it has ramped up tremendously, and something does need to be done to curtail it. But really, you think that's going to happen with this administration? So, knowing that this is happening, and knowing that you and I are footing the bill for it, let's take a quick run over the annual cost of illegal immigration at the federal, state, and local levels. Okay? Because what we've got here is a $113 billion a year problem. Yeah, you heard me right. $113 billion. It makes that $1.5 billion Powerball lottery sound like a booger, doesn't it? But this is what illegal aliens cost you and I as taxpayers. And what that works out to is $29 billion at the federal level and $84 billion at the state and local levels. Now, this study also estimates tax collections from illegal alien workers, both those in the above ground economy and those in the underground economy. Those receipts do not come close to the level of expenditures, and in any case are misleading as an offset, because over time, unemployed and underemployed U.S. workers would replace illegal alien workers. So, the key findings in this study of what illegal immigration is costing us. The annual outlay that illegal aliens cost U.S. taxpayers is an average amount per native-headed household. Okay, so if you're an American citizen, your house pays roughly $1,117 per year to support illegal aliens in our country. Education for the children of illegal aliens constitutes the single largest cost to taxpayers. at an annual price tag of near $52 billion. Nearly all of those costs are absorbed by state and local governments. Let that sink in. State and local governments. Well, no wonder the federal government isn't motivated to do anything about this. Look at that. Out of $113 billion a year, $52 billion are directly absorbed by state and local governments. The feds don't care. At the federal level, about 1/3 of outlays are matched by tax collections from illegal aliens. Now, what that means is out of their $29 billion, what they're saying is that they get about 8.7 billion in taxes from the illegals. So they consider that okay, I guess. You know, they have a 5% plus or minus is what they're saying. That's a pretty big plus or minus when you're talking billions of dollars. But okay, let's just not split hairs. Let's say they're right, and 1/3 of it is recouped. So that means the federal government is paying out $20 billion. Well, guess what? They still get that $20 billion from you and me. They take that money from our paychecks. They take that money from our wallets. That's money that you and I don't get to spend because they're busy trying to create some kind of developing world within our country and have some kind of multicultural, utopian, democratic wet dream. Most illegal aliens do not pay income taxes. Among those who do, much of the revenues collected are refunded to the illegal aliens when they file tax returns. Why in the hell would we do this? Many are also claiming tax credits, resulting in payments from the United States Treasury. Again, your money and my money. This we can pin squarely on the shoulders of Barack Obama. With many state budgets in deficit, policymakers have an obligation to look for ways to reduce the fiscal burden of illegal immigration. Just the state of California alone is facing a budget deficit of $14.4 billion and is hit with an estimated $21.8 billion in annual expenditures on illegal aliens. Are you kidding me? They're paying 30% more than their deficit in expenditures on illegal aliens. Where if they simply just cut off expenditures for illegal aliens, they would suddenly be $7.4 billion in the black. How about that? That's how easy it is to balance your budget out, California. Do you have the stones to do it? I know you don't. New York has a $6.8 billion deficit. And it's smaller than its $9.5 billion in annual illegal alien costs. Again, they could balance out, have a $3 billion surplus if they simply cut out the expenditures on illegals. Folks, I don't know about you. I mean, I feel that our states owe us the balanced budget. And if it comes at the expense of not servicing people that are in our country illegally, I'm all for it. I think the first thing that should happen is that all incentives for illegal aliens to remain in the United States should be revoked. You either make it on your own by being a contributing member of society and come in the legal way, or get the hell out. Now, this report also notes that while tax collections from the illegal alien population would likely increase only marginally, the new legal status would make them eligible for receiving Social Security retirement benefits that would further jeopardize the future of the already shaky system. An amnesty would also result in this large population of illegal aliens becoming eligible for numerous social assistance programs available for low-income populations for which they are now not eligible. The overall result would therefore be an accentuation of the already enormous fiscal burden. Okay? Now, let's think about this. Let's think about this long and hard for a minute. Okay? As a Hispanic person myself, I don't care what your nationality is. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care where you came here from. I don't care if you're black, white, red, yellow, brown, purple, pink, blue, or even plaid. I simply don't care. Your race has nothing to do with this. Your religion has nothing to do with this. Your skin color has nothing to do with this. You're breaking the law. These laws were put in place for a reason. They were put in place to protect American citizens, not just from terrorists. I know that's big on everybody's mind right now, but this is not just a terrorism thing. It is put here, those laws were made to protect us from being overrun by multiculturalism. They were put in place so that we could properly screen the people that were requesting to come to the United States, to make sure that they were good, hardworking, intelligent people that were ready to assimilate into our culture and contribute to our nation. We're not supposed to be throwing damn turnstiles up at the southern border. That's not a secure way of controlling immigration, Mr. President, which is what you have done. I just want the law followed. And that shouldn't be too much to ask from people that run for public office and swear an oath to uphold our laws. But apparently it is. Apparently it's a little too much. Now, we're about to move on to the next segment, but before we do, I want to remind you that tonight's all about the money. Your money, my money, tax money. The money our government takes from us and pisses away. And we're going to talk about exactly how they piss it away. We have some of these are long discussions. Some of these are not so long discussions. But we're going to talk about them. The one thing that really jumped out, and by the way, if you're not familiar with the annual waste book that comes out of Congress, this is a tradition that was started by now retired Senator Tom Coburn. And those of you from the middle of the country, you know who Tom Coburn is well, Nebraska man. Tom Coburn put this out every year, what he considered the hugest waste of taxpayer dollars. And he did this to raise awareness. And unfortunately, a lot of people turned it into kind of a joke. Oh, look at the pasty old white Republican stuffed shirt, racist bigot over there, honky, whatever you want to call them. It doesn't matter. They turned it into a joke. Coburn was doing something good and decent, something that every one of the 535 elected idiots in Washington, D.C. that congregate in that Capitol building to pass laws should be paying attention to, but they don't. Now, like I mentioned, Coburn is retired now. So who did the waste book? Well, of all people to pick up and start doing waste book on the Republican side of the House, Arizona Junior Senator Jeff Flake. Yeah, that's an affirmative, Mr. Producer. Oh, my apologies. Was Tom from Oklahoma? Oh, God, did I? And I said Nebraska. Wow. Okay. Pardon me, folks. Senator Coburn from Oklahoma. Pardon me. I can't believe I said Nebraska. Wow. That's what happens when I don't reference my notes often enough. But anyway, of all people, Jeff Flake, that's right, the guy that was on the Gang of Eight. Yeah, he was the other junior senator with Marco Rubio, the other junior Tea Party brander. Jeff Flake was supposed to be one of the hottest up-and-coming young senators that was going to Tea Party this country back into its place. Jeff Flake flopped as hard as Rubio, but didn't take as much heat for it on the Gang of Eight. And I guess this is Flake's way of trying to work his way back into favor. I guess he figures if Rubio can do it, so can he. So let's give Jeff, and again, if you would like to go over this in much more detail, I highly recommend that you go to www.flake.senate.gov and just do a search for Wastebook. You are going to love the format that he did this in. And I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm just going to say you will absolutely love it. Now, the number one thing in the Wastebook that caught my eye is titled Paid Patriotism. You may have heard about this story about how the Department of Defense has been paying organizations like the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, Major League Soccer to have patriotic displays at their games. Why? Why would the Department of Defense do this? These paid tributes included on-field color guards, enlistment and re-enlistment ceremonies, performances of the national anthem, full field flag details, ceremonial first pitches, puck drops, penalty kicks. DOD even paid for the opportunity to perform surprise welcome home events for troops returning from deployments and to recognize wounded warriors. Pardon me. Very well intentioned. Don't get me wrong. I love our men and women in the military every single day. Being a veteran myself, I understand what they were trying to accomplish. Being a taxpayer, it offends the hell out of me. Okay? Now, before we get into the hard numbers of this thing, Mr. Producer, I know we're about a minute or two ahead of schedule here, but we are coming up on the bottom of the hour. So could we go ahead and cue the break up? And that way I could just do the whole Wastebook after the break and just carry it straight on through to the end. You ready for me, Mr. Producer?
Got you covered. 1 second.
All right. He's queuing them up. Folks, we are going to take a break. And when we do come back, we're going to go ahead and go through the Wastebook. There's probably about 20 items that I'd really like to hit on in this thing. It's much bigger than 20 items, but there's 20 that I really want to hit on. So we're going to be cooking when we come back through this. Stay tuned, though, and we're going to cover these billions and billions of dollars our government's wasting. Go ahead and play it, Mr. Producer. We're good. I'll send it up.
Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
All right, guys, we're ready for our Four Seasons sunroom, and Daddy's gonna get a rec room with refreshments.
Oh no, we'll be sleeping under the stars.
Mom, what about the one with, the fun?
Nice try, little bro. It's a gym. My gym.
Hey, Grandma's getting her Four Seasons garden room. Weather tight and still like being outdoors.
Maybe a living room. Oh no, wait, a family hub.
Yeah! No matter what the budget, the season, or the climate, Four Seasons sunrooms let you and your family enjoy the outdoors inside. Call now to receive your free, no-obligation brochure from the premier manufacturer of sunrooms since 1975.
More reasons for Four Seasons now.
To find out more, call toll-free 800-928-7007. That's 800-928-7007. Call 800-928-7007 today.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Get started again.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
Oh, but ain't that America? You and me. Ain't that America?
All right, welcome back. Glad to have you here. All right. Now, when we left off, we were about to get into Wastebook 2015. It is important to remember before we get started here, if you have a nice picture of President Ronald Reagan out on display, you might want to put it in a drawer for this segment of the show because he would be rolling in his grave to know that a Republican-run Congress is responsible for this expenditure. Okay, I warned you. If you also have financially sensitive ears, you may want to maybe not engage in this part of the show because I'm going to break wallets all over the place here. So, the Department of Defense, all in all, the military services reported spending $50 $53 million on marketing and advertising contracts with professional sports teams between 2012 and 2015. More than $10 million of that total was paid to teams in the National Football League, Major League Baseball, National Basketball Association, National Hockey League, and Major League Soccer. DoD cannot fully account for the total cost, but displays of paid patriotism were contained within sports marketing contracts totaling at least $6.8 million per year since 2012. Okay, now hang on. That's 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. 6 times 4 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. That's $27.2 million. That's only half of the $53 million that they mentioned in the first paragraph. Where's the other half of the money? Whose pockets did that money make it into? Now, the department claims these contracts are intended for recruitment purposes, but does not uniformly measure whether these activities are actually contributing to recruiting goals. There's a good old military standard for you, right? So in 2015, the paid patriotism included a United States Air Force contract with NASCAR totaling $1.6 million that included autograph sessions with Eric Almirola at an Air Force recruiting booth, meet and greets, and other appearances by Richard Petty, and 20 Richard Petty driving experience ride-alongs. As part of a $150,000 contract with the NFL's Atlanta Falcons, the Georgia Army National Guard Color Guard participated in a military appreciation game and also attended a training camp, which included the giveaway of co-branded promotional items such as hats, flags, rally towels, etc., for 500 attendees. The Georgia Army National Guard also had a $150,000 contract with the Atlanta Braves baseball team that included sponsorship of 4 military appreciation games. The Minnesota Army National Guard paid $100,000 to the NHL's Minnesota Wild for a contract that included a color guard ceremony and opportunity for a soldier to rappel from the catwalk to deliver the game puck, recognition of a soldier of the game, and a flag bearer highlighted on the center scoreboard at every regular season and postseason Wild home game. And it goes on and on and on and on. Seattle Sounders of the Major League Soccer had a $35,000 contract with the Washington Army National Guard. $75,000 contract, Utah Army National Guard for Major League Soccer's Real Salt Lake included color guard ceremonies and military appreciation nights. Folks, if these professional sports teams are truly, truly interested in showing patriotism, why do they have to be paid to do it? They're already making money hand over fist. Just to give you an idea, the NFL last year made a $12 billion with a B, $12 billion profit. That's after meeting their payroll. Have you seen what pro football players make these days? I don't even know what the whole payroll of the NFL is, but I promise you one thing, I'm going to find out. I am going to find out. It might take me a couple of weeks to get all the math done, but I am going to find out what 30 NFL teams' payroll is for a year and compare that to their profit. So anyway, like all Americans, we appreciate our military. We love our military men and women. We love what they do in defending our freedoms. I do not love what the Department of Defense is doing with our tax dollars. I think that these professional sports organizations should step up and show their patriotism. Volunteer like the men and women you're honoring. Next up, not nearly as lucrative, but way more ludicrous. The expose article that was done on this was called Take the Monkey and Run. It's kind of a play off the old Steve Miller song, Take the Money and Run. For those of you younger that don't know that song, you should look it up. It's actually a pretty good little song. But this is Take the Monkey and Run. So this is how the Southwest National Primate Research Center trained 12 marmoset monkeys to run on a treadmill via a $1 million grant from the National Institute of Health. Now, each of the 12 little monkeys was put into a transparent rodent exercise ball. The balls of monkeys were then placed onto a standard human Nordic track treadmill. The treadmill was started at a low speed and gradually increased to 1 mile per hour. The scientists were amazed at how the monkeys acclimated to running in the exercise ball on the treadmill. But they say there were some spills and mishaps along the way, including one who vomited inside his exercise ball and 3 others who defecated in theirs. Another monkey in the treadmill running group also died 11 weeks into the study, but they say it wasn't related to what he was doing in the study, so it must be okay then, right? Come on. We're talking monkeys inside of plastic balls on treadmills. And they got $1 million to do this. Why did they get $1 million to do this? Well, they point out that the main potential limitation with exercise training and testing is time. It's a process that's labor intensive, they say. We worked with each marmoset 5 days a week for 1 month, habituating and training to the capture and exercise paradigms. Maintaining the exercise then occurred 3 days each week for 3 months. So, what was it they were actually studying? What did they find? The researchers say that the studies of monkeys running on treadmills can be conducted for more meaningful purposes. Specifically, they assert that these techniques should be useful to researchers wishing to address physiological responses of exercise in a marmoset model. Why would they want to know how forced exercise affects a wild creature? You shouldn't be doing this to them. And look, here we go already. The National Institute of Aging, which is also NIH funded, is getting ready to spend $600,000 plus to conduct its own monkey on a treadmill study. Unbelievable. This is your tax dollars and my tax dollars hard at work. Now, over the past decade, this Southwest National Primate Research Center, located in Texas, has received nearly 70 million taxpayer dollars in grants and contracts from various federal agencies. And during this same time period, the center has also been slapped with fines totaling more than $30,000 for a number of violations, including performing a necropsy on a baboon that was still alive. Unbelievable. USDA has identified 14 violations of the Animal Welfare Act at the center over a 2-year period. We're funding this, folks, with our tax dollars. Unbelievable. Okay, moving on. One of the other things I wanted to get to. Now, we all know that the Middle East is a veritable hotspot for tourism. But the United States State Department issued a travel warning in May of 2015, urging Americans to avoid all travel to Lebanon because of ongoing safety and security concerns. That's a quote from the State Department. U.S. citizens have been killed in bombings and kidnapped within the Middle Eastern nation in recent years and months. ISIS terrorists have staged attacks along the nation's eastern border with Syria, and there are tensions along its southern border with Israel as well. Sudden outbreaks of violence can occur at any time in Lebanon, including attacks by suicide bombers, according to the State Department. Islamic State sleeper cells are also believed to be hidden within Lebanon. Now think about this, okay? They put this warning out with all these dire consequences and cautions, and despite the risk to U.S. citizens, the United States Agency for International Development spent more than $2 million promoting tourism from the United States to Lebanon. Hello? In a perfect case of the left hand not knowing what the right hand is doing, because both of them are in a place that most government workers' heads are, USAID is funding 2 5-year programs, Lebanon Industry Value Chain Development and Building Alliance for Local Advancement, Development, and Investment. Now, through the latter, USAID has provided $1.6 million for rural tourism related to activities since 2012 and expects to invest $1.3 million this year. What the hell are they thinking? This is your money, my money. Stop! Call your congressman, put their feet to the fire. This kind of garbage has to come to an end. Next up, hipster parties. Oh yeah, you heard me. The National Institute of Health funding $5 million for this slogan. Will you be there to help a hipster in need? That's the question posed by the Help a Hipster movement that has received $5 million of taxpayer funds from NIH. They organize parties at bars and nightclubs featuring indie rock bands, local artists, and DJs, as well as other activities aimed at enticing hipsters to take a stand against tobacco corporations. And when parties fail to achieve that goal, the intervention gets blunt. And the organizers of these parties, the Help a Hipster movement, start handing your and my cash to these hipsters. They offer them cash to quit smoking. Are you kidding me? They're paying people our money to promise to quit smoking. So, yes, I'll quit smoking. Thank you for the cash. I'm going to give you this pack of cigarettes that I have, and I'm going home to start my smoke-free life. And he gets in his car, drives off, stops at the corner store, picks up a new pack, and goes home and burns them down that night. How stupid can you be? Okay, so next up, Washington State National Science Foundation. Woohoo! You're going to love this one. Can a foam koozie keep a can of cold beer cool on a hot day? Are you serious? A $1.3 million study for this? I could do this for the cost of 2 beers and 1 koozie. And it's scientific. So, 2 researchers and a pair of students from the University of Washington investigated the question with funding from the National Science Foundation, discovered exactly how a koozie keeps a cold can of beer cool. Probably the most important thing a beer koozie does is not simply insulate the can, but it keeps condensation from forming on the outside of it. Everybody all together, duh! The koozie is essential. Do not just wipe off the drops of condensation, warns the science writer in UW's news office. That will only make your drink even warmer. Warming results when droplets of condensation form on a cold can or bottle. By preventing condensation from occurring, the koozie keeps the beverage from becoming warm. We paid $1.3 million, you and I did, to find this out. Unfreaking believable. Moving on. New York Institute of Drug Abuse. That's right, the New York Institute of Drug Abuse. Sounds like a really high-end treatment facility, maybe. They were awarded $780,000 in grant money to study addictive foods, or what they consider addictive foods. Pizza may be as addictive as crack, according to their study. It appears that, after all, college students eat pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or in between meals, or as a late-night snack, and they are not alone. Pizza is the world's most popular food, declares the United States Department of Agriculture. 1 in 8 Americans eats pizza on any given day. Oh my God. For the NIDA study, more than 100 undergraduate college students at the University of Michigan completed a survey indicating which of 35 foods they associated with addictive-like eating behaviors. The students who participated were paid $20 and received course credit. What a deal! Students at other colleges will experience pizza envy since their schools probably don't offer similar rewards for being graded on their food addiction. When the results were tallied, chocolate ice cream, French fries were rated as even more addictive than pizza for most students. So, yeah, maybe not so good with this study. But anyway, we paid for it. We might as well know. Next up, the party bus. National Department of Homeland Security. Oh, yeah, that's right. You heard me right. DHS, baby. Entertainment buses chartered for bachelor and bachelorette parties and luxury motor coaches chauffeuring the affluent to the playground of the rich and famous are taking taxpayers for a ride by picking up federal Homeland Security funds. The Intercity Bus Security Grant Program provides funding to owners and operators of fixed-route intercity and charter buses that serve select areas designated for Urban Area Security Initiative funding by the Department of Homeland Security. Isn't that special? The program allocated $3 million this year, and the recipients may spend the money on operating costs, public awareness campaigns, or renovations to buses and bus terminals intended to enhance security. So let me get this right. If I run a bus company, a private company, and I take out a contract with DHS that says, in times of emergencies, I will come to your aid with my company's resources, you're just going to funnel money to me like this. This is crap. Absolute crap. So these people are getting $3 million a year to build custom coaches, buses, and limos so that they can chauffeur around DHS personnel or even possibly civilians in the time of a dire emergency if and when DHS calls them and says, we need you. Isn't that nice? You're paying for that. I'm paying for that. Think we can get a free ride on that bus? Think that limo will come to your house and pick you up and take you and the missus out for dinner? Or you and the mister out for dinner? I don't think so. But we're paying for it. In more ways than one, too. Oh, I can't even do this one. Oh, my God. Oh, okay. NASA in Colorado is doing a study on the effect of sheep in zero gravity. That's right, you heard it. Sheep in zero gravity. I don't even know if I have a sound effect for that. I just, well, how about this one maybe? Yeah, that's right. The old flushing toilet. Or, oh, maybe this one. Yeah, exactly. So they're not planning to launch sheep into space, but they have rounded up a herd of sheep and they plan to mimic the impact of space travel on their bones to better understand bone health and healing. This is a 3-year project that's going to cost you and I $1.2 million. Peachy. Sheep in space. All right. Moving on. Here's one that really will tick you off. And if it doesn't, your head's not in the right place. Hello? That was not me, folks. Anyway. Yes. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough, really. Okay, let's get this one in because it'll probably be the last one. It's a little big compared to some of the others. Housing and urban development. You know what a wreck this is. This is the cabinet position, I believe. Julian Castro runs this department for Obama. Anyway, some residents of public housing intended for low-income families own real estate and are even earning big bucks from rental properties of their own. A Nebraska resident receiving federal housing subsidies, for example, owns real estate valued at $470,600, has assets totaling $1.6 million, and earns an annual income nearly double the financial threshold to be eligible for the Department of Housing and Urban Development's housing program. Over 300,000 families are on a waiting list to receive housing assistance just in New York City, which has been ranked the second most expensive city to rent in America, while household income must be less than $67,000 to be eligible for rental assistance. Wait a minute, $67,000. I guess it is New York. Anyway, for rental assistance, a 4-person household with a combined income of nearly $500,000 has been receiving public housing despite exceeding the income eligibility since 2009. One of the members of the household owned real estate that produced $800,000 in rental income alone over a 4-year period. It's all legal, and it's not even that unusual. But how is it legal? More than 25,000 households had incomes exceeding HUD's eligibility limits in July of 2014, according to an audit. More than 1,000 households had incomes exceeding the qualifying limit by as much as $50,000 or more. Despite that fact, hundreds of thousands of lower-income families are on waiting lists for housing assistance. HUD defends the policy of subsidizing the rents of tenants earning higher incomes. As a result, HUD did not assist many low-income families in need of housing as it could have. HUD will pay $104.4 million over the next year for public housing units occupied by people that exceed the limitations of what HUD is supposed to subsidize. That is you and me paying $104.4 million for people to live high on the hog that are already making high on the hog salaries. And people wonder why poor people get upset and feel disenfranchised, like the government's not helping them. Hey, guess what, poor people? This is your government. These are the people you voted for that are screwing you over. It's time to put the parties aside. It's time to vote on issues and not how your candidate looks or how your candidate sounds. It's time to put the foolishness away. Now, folks, it's top of the hour. I've wound my time up. I want to thank you for being here. We're going to do this again in 2 weeks next week. Well, no, we're going to do it next week. We're going to do it next week. We are. We're going to do it next week. So come back next Wednesday night. And if you like the show, tell your friends. If your friends like the show, you probably need some new friends, but I hope you and they will come back next Wednesday for the very next Conservative Curmudgeon radio show. Thank you. God bless. Catch me on Twitter at TCC_Grouchy. Love you, mean it. Bye.
We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. Never back down from a challenge or a fight.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602. If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, security and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.